So now my wannabe tough ass then started liking his boy because he felt like a safe space amidst all the chaos. Wasn't outside trying to be in the mix, always invested in the music and chilling with gang, and essentially wasn't someone I felt I had to worry about doing me like the rest because to my knowledge, he wasn't hypersexual and playing in girls' faces. He was actually the opposite of your average. You know, the pretty boys posted on the block, but he was still loved by the block and us, of course, and that spoke volumes to me. Eventually, I found out that this pregnant girl that was the cousin of our people's whose house we was in was actually carrying his child, and they were separated at the time that I found out. I figured they were just on a break and were going to get back together. I didn't know their story for real because I hadn't met her prior to that, but I didn't really want no parts of that drama. We were still making music and was living carefree, and that was all the escape I needed from my busy and drama-filled life, which I wasn't inviting nobody into, especially that wasn't of the essence anyway. As I said, not sure how, but I kept my light alive and managed to compartmentalize my alter ego and my shadow. Different strokes for different folks, you know? So, you know how they say, don't mix your friends because everyone isn't for everybody? That's me. I've always been that person. I know many people, but was never in the likes of mixing and mingling for real, especially since that so-called best friend in high school that slept with my ex after bringing her back to the block. I'm not gonna lie, it was her that did it for me. And I became more aware of people's character and how they switch, so I only give people the side of me that I see fit, honestly. Also, because of friends that introduced me to their friends that I didn't really like. So I'm mindful. It's always love, but I stay in my own lane and don't care to be mixing the energies I come across unless it's business. If I see something beneficial to someone, I put them on, even if it's not beneficial to me. I'm aware that we all have a purpose here, and most times it's to help others in different aspects, especially to unlock their inner power, to meet their full potential. That's why no matter what others put me through, I speak life into people. Speaking of, that was something that me and old boy did often. And after realizing they would truly never reuniting as a couple and only co-parents, well, hey, why not, right? So after us talking back and forth on the phone for a while, we agreed, I pull up and we chill. So I ended up going to his apartment, assuming that he was going to be there alone or he would be the one to open the door, but he was actually out looking for me. And when I got to the door, child, y'all should have saw the outfit I was wearing, okay? Oh, my Lord. A disgrace to anyone's parents, but surprisingly, his mom came to the door, right? And she was actually happy that I was there. She looked at me and she let me right in, y'all. Oh my goodness. So she let me go in the room and wait for him, and she was talking to me and we were getting to know each other. I then found out that she was cool, but she was very messy, okay? Very much so. And it was crazy, but me and him definitely ended up hitting it off because we already had known each other and we're very well acquainted, but eventually one thing led to another, and yeah, we moved kind of fast, but we loved each other very, very much. We were each other's safe space and we had a lot in common as well. So I overlooked any of our differences and just embraced it because it was a breath of fresh air from everything that I was going through. And I will say that I do appreciate the time that we spent, very much so. Now, if you hadn't picked up on it yet, I am one who loves to cater to the one that I love, and it's for many reasons, but mostly due to internal warfares and me wanting to provide the safety and love that I want to receive, It's comforting, it's nurturing, and I do have a nurturing spirit, so that's another reason why my little big heart self was getting into the things that I was, not having any boundaries, but just want to be all love, But I actually would find myself, because we were younger, so boys in their messy rooms, things like that, I would clean up the room, and eventually I got the green light to go in the kitchen and cook, which one time his mom actually tried my cooking and she was appeased, which was rare because she was very skeptical about eating people's food. So I was actually happy about that because you already know how women feel about meeting your mom and actually getting along with them. It feels good. So it got to a point where I would actually cook for the whole house and we would bond over that too. And I felt like when we would make quick meals, like sandwiches and stuff, because I make bomb sandwiches. Like, you would think I was the ox, okay? I'm like that alien 626 and Lilo and Stitch, where he would make buku sandwiches. And that's thanks to my grandfather, too, because he loved to make sandwiches. God bless his soul. And my cooking side, you already know, that come from my mom. Now, I didn't really want a job out of it. Sorry, Mom, but I love to do it in comfortability and out of love. So that was definitely, that was something that we did a lot. Now, of course, with me being heavily present in the household, I bonded with his son, who I love very, very much. I always will, no matter how far I am. I will always love that kid. I used to sing to him too. Never Can Say Goodbye by the Jacksons was one of his favorite songs. I would sing it so he could fall asleep. It would put him down. Oh my goodness. And of course he's a music lover, because it's in his blood. And now to this day, he actually indulges in music and is a baby producer in the making. So shout out to them. He's not a baby anymore. I believe he's about 12 now, but yeah, that's really, really dope. That's dope to see. Congratulations. So, yeah, he actually did help me with a lot of internal wounds at the time because, the experiences that I told you all about. Now, of course, I didn't really share them, at the time, and I would just harbor the pain. Those were just internal wounds. But that time spent, he would also, follow me around, and he loved to be around me, and he would come in the kitchen when I was cooking. So I would teach him things, even though I felt like he may not have been picking it up or soaking it in. He would come in, help me. I let him crack the eggs, things like that. And it was very heartwarming. So I appreciate that time. And of course, his mom wasn't really fond of our relationship in totality, me, the family, period, because of their history. So sometimes she would come over and she would have her smart remarks, and I get it, but listen, I'm not the one, all right? I'm cool all day, but I will check you. And so I did, and she learned that fast. Now, also because of, out of respect for his mom and the fact that there's a child involved, we're not going to do this, okay? We're going to find some kind of common ground and act like we're one big happy family. And so we did, because one thing, honey, I'm wise, and I may not have always made the smartest decisions, but I was raised by Southerners. And even though I may feel like I had whatever problems within the household or lack of confidence or whatever, I won't ever take my mother's flowers from her. She definitely raised some wise children who eventually learned how to fend for themselves, and she pushed love. It may not have always been effective communication, but there was love. I will say that, okay? So I definitely have always had a big heart. That's just me. And I don't care to do the extras. Now, if I have to bring the drama, trust, I will. But like I said, that's not something I was trying to do. Now, on another note, why your boy over here trying me? Because I guess the scenarios had him feeling himself and smelling himself, and he figured it was smart to go out and try to talk to somebody else. Are you crazy? You got everything you need right here, and you already have a situation going on. All right, now you acting like you one of them, okay? And I already could tell by that's not even your bop, okay? So now, since you want to play with the wolf, I'm going to show you what the wolf is about, what the wolf be doing, okay? And since he wanted to play, I ended up making him a social profile, because if you're going to be out here talking to people, you better be bringing back that Skrilla. That better be your sugar mama paying our bills. That's it. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. You want to play? So I guess he figured that wasn't smart to indulge in, so he chose not to do it. But I definitely made that profile. Stop playing with me. But then let me tell you how I found out he was actually a compulsive liar. But I noticed something later on in life too. He is a compulsive liar when it comes to him feeling like he needs to protect someone's emotions. Now, I don't have time for that. I'm a big girl. Please tell me what it is and what it ain't. So I found this out due to an incident that occurred where his son ended up vomiting, and I ended up mopping up with no protective gear or anything. And shortly after, I broke out on my hands. It was just pink bumps popping up out of nowhere. This had never happened. So I immediately ran to Google, which is probably a bad idea because they will have you mentally impaired. Okay. So we went to the ER. And one of the results on Google did say that it could be hand, foot, mouth disease, which I thought it was. And due to all of the doctors standing over me, making bets, literally, you know what? I can't stand stinking Lincoln Hospital, but they were over there making bets. Like, I bet you it's hand, foot, mouth. Eventually, we found out it was dyshydrotic eczema. That's what I was diagnosed with. And it turned into the bumps on my hand to it becoming like eczema patches and lesion looking things all over my body. It was so crazy. I felt like a monster. I looked like a monster. So this eventually led to a fallout between me and his mom because she does not play about her grandchild. Respectfully, I understand that. So she thought that I was trying to call the baby dirty. That was not the case at all. I was actually blaming it on my lack of responsibility in the cleaning process, of course. You know, I know how clean he is. I'm there a lot, and I also assist a lot of times. So I know. But yeah, that didn't land too well with her. And eventually, him and his compulsive lying, okay, one time he had got some batteries and decided to lie about where he got them from, which was his mom. Why? What was I going to do? Tell you not to speak to your mother? So that was the last straw for me. And I ended up just, leaving that where it was and going about my business. In the midst of me being out, I did make a grand mistake and I dealt with someone that was really close to him, but I'm very honest and straightforward. So I did tell him so that he wouldn't be left in the dark. Now, he did try and overlook that because of the love that we had for each other, and he was still willing to try again. But again, that was short-lived because now it's not like you've gotten the same me twice, and his compulsive lying is just a thing. It's embedded. So that wasn't going to work out for either of us. We did remain friends for quite some time. Eventually, he ended up in a relationship too, and that, kind of isolated him from me and from other people. But yeah, we couldn't really be the friends that we would have liked to have been because we were still really cool as far as like music and things of that nature. We still had that chemistry, but it was now non-existent until that had ended and we became friends again. But like I said, that compulsive lying is embedded. So eventually that became a problem. And I had to remove myself all in all anyway. But before we even got there, I did end up going back to my wild life. And baby, it was wild.